Here's the truth. Starting a photo booth business is not as cheap as some people online make it sound. You're not just buying a booth and calling it a day. There are big ticket items like the booth itself, the printer, the software, but there's also a ton of hidden startup costs that most beginners never think about. Things like website, insurance, marketing, even little subscriptions that start piling up month after month. I get it. When I first started, I completely underestimated how much money it would take to start this business. I thought I had everything covered, and then suddenly it felt like my business was bleeding money before I ever had the chance to build momentum. In this video, I'm going to break down the real startup costs for a photo booth business, what you actually need to budget for, what's worth spending on, and how to avoid wasting money on things you don't need. The exact mistakes I made when I first started. Let me take you back to 2014 when I first got into the photo booth industry. I bought my first booth from Photobooth Supply Co. Back then, it was called the Printer Plus. Now it's their legacy booth. It was a complete kit with a Surface Pro 3, a flash, and a D&P DS620 printer. The cost? About $8,000. That was terrifying. I had just come home from an Air Force deployment in the Middle East, and while my wife and I had some money saved, I had never invested that much in equipment before. We prayed for weeks before finally pulling the trigger. What I didn't realize was that buying the booth was only the beginning. I had completely underestimated everything else I'd need: a website, insurance, a CRM, backdrop, printer media, even accounting. It felt like money was bleeding out every week, and I made mistakes. I wasted cash on cheesy props because that's what other owners were doing. Later, I repositioned my brand for luxury weddings and corporate events. Those props didn't ever fit the image. They're still sitting in my office collecting dust. In those early days, I only bought the bare minimum to get through the next event. Then I'd reinvest my earnings to slowly build up. That taught me a huge lesson. If you don't spend strategically, you'll never get ahead. If you're looking to start or grow your photo booth business, I've got something for you. I put together a free quick start guide that walks you through the essentials to get up and running quick. Whether you're just starting out or you want to have your foundations covered, this guide will help you. Grab your free copy now. Just click down in the description below. So let's start with the big ticket items, your photo booth itself. Now, booths can range anywhere from $3,000 on the low end to $12,000 or more on the high end. And you might be wondering, why such a huge difference? Here's the reality. Those $3,000 booths are often what we call shell-only systems. You're essentially buying the frame or the body of the booth, and then you still need to add all the core components yourself. Things like the iPad or Surface Pro, the printer, the software, lighting, the cable, even the rolling case might not be included. At first, it feels like you're saving money, but what usually happens is you end up piecing it all together and spending much more time and energy just to try and make it work. Now, when you move into the $8,000 to $12,000 range, you're usually getting a turnkey system. These booths are fully integrated, designed to look professional, and they come with all the key components built in. For example, my first booth came complete with a Surface Pro, a flash, a professional printer, and it was ready to run events right out of the box. Yes, the price tag was extremely scary at the time, but here's why it was worth it. The booth worked seamlessly, looked clean. It also gave me confidence when I showed up at a wedding and a corporate event. Think of it this way. When you're trying to build a brand that attracts premium clients, your booth is your storefront. People judge you on appearance and professionalism. A higher-end booth might cost more upfront, but it sets you apart instantly and saves you time trying to troubleshoot or jerry-rig equipment at an event. Alright, photo booth owners, not having a contract can cost you big. Last-minute cancellations, unpaid balances, and clients changing terms on the fly. Protect yourself and look professional with a solid contract. I've put together a free photo booth contract to help you lock in more bookings and avoid headaches. Grab your free copy now. Just click the link in the description below. Now let's talk about hidden costs. The things you don't always think about at first, but they add up fast. You're going to need at least a couple of backdrops to start. Each one can cost anywhere from $200 to $400. You will also need a backdrop stand that can cost about $250. But here's a pro tip for you. A hack I wish I had learned earlier earlier, you don't have to buy a massive backdrop collection up front. What I started doing later was posting sample photos of a large backdrop selection that I wanted to own. When a client booked me and requested a specific backdrop from that selection, that's when I'd actually buy it. Essentially, their retainer payment funded the growth of my backdrop collection. Over time, this allowed me to expand my offerings without draining my own cash flow. Next is your website. If you know how to build one yourself, your cost might be as little as $15 to $30 a month for hosting. But if you don't know web design, hiring a designer can easily run you $500 to $2,000 up front, and sometimes more if you want something highly customized. Remember, this is one of the first impressions people will get of your business, so it's worth investing in something clean and professional. And then there's marketing. This is one of those areas that sneaks up on a lot of new business owners. You may not need to spend here right away, but it's important at least to be aware of the cost so you can plan ahead. For example, Facebook and Instagram ads often run $10 to $30 a day when people start small, which adds up to about $300 to $900 a month. Google ads can be higher depending on your competition, sometimes $5,000 to $1,000 a month. And SEO services, if you hire someone to do that work for you, that can range $500 to $1,500 a month. These numbers aren't to say you have to invest in paid marketing, but they give you an idea of what many businesses budget for when they're looking to grow. It's just good to know what's out there so you can make the right decisions when the time comes. Alright, you want to know something crazy? Since I posted my last video, I've gotten over 30 brand new Google reviews, and the best part, I didn't have to ask for them. They all came from Clienti. It's a done-for-you review collection service that auto-magically works in the background, so you literally wake up to dozens of real, actual reviews without lifting a finger. If you want to know how to start building reviews on autopilot, just click on my Google review link in the description below or hit this YouTube card right up here and check it out. Okay, so how do you keep all of this from overwhelming you? Here's what I did. I only bought what I absolutely needed to get through my next event. I didn't try to have the perfect setup on day one. Instead, I reinvested money from each event back into the business to slowly build it up. Avoid impulse buys just because other owners are doing it. Focus on the things that deliver the best client experience and make you look professional. If it doesn't serve your brand or make your client experience better, you don't need it right now. Here are the biggest lessons I learned from my own startup costs. Number one, don't underestimate how much it will cost. It will always end up being more than you expect. Number two, think long-term about your brand before spending money on things like props or backdrops. Otherwise, you'll waste money on things you'll outgrow. Number three, prioritize investments that help you deliver a premium client experience. That's what gets you better clients and higher prices. And number four, every dollar should have a purpose. Don't just spend to spend. One of the biggest challenges with starting a photo booth business isn't just the money you spend, it's knowing where to even begin. A lot of new owners ask me, what's the first step I should take once I buy my booth? Or how do I actually launch this business without feeling overwhelmed? If that's you, I've got you covered. Go watch my video, How to Start a Photo Booth Business Step by Step. In that video, I walk you through everything from getting your first clients to setting up your system so you're not just running events, you're running a real business. Click right here and I'll see you in that video.